Welcome everybody back to another episode of This Is How You Dad, and we got the dads with me. Good morning, fellas.
Pretty good.
All right. And so we're gonna start off. We got Malachi Sims, the father of two boys. Hello, sir.
What's up?
And we got Juwan Cole with two daughters and a son. Juwan, what's up, sir?
Hanging in there, man.
All right. Then we got Ian. Ian has a 24-year-old daughter and a 10-year-old son.
He's now 11.
Oh, that's right. That's right. 11. My bad. And we got Antoine. And we got Antoine Bell. And you have what, sir?
I'm the king of the strikeouts, baby.
3 out.
All right. We're going to do something a little bit different this episode because we just went through and announced who we were this last episode. Now we're going to play a game called Would You Father? And we're going to be talking about some different family scenarios that we might find ourselves in. Hopefully not one day. But we're going to see basically what we would do in these situations if they ever came up. So, first one has to do with bad kids. Here's a scenario. One of your kids is really good friends with this kid, and the kid is not necessarily a bad kid, but the other kids that come along with this kid are bad kids. So, would you rather have all the bad kids be at your house, or would you rather your kid go to their house?
Send them to their house. I don't want some bad kids at my house.
but
and I think that I've raised my kid good enough and with an independent thinking mind to stay above that BS fray that they get involved in.
But come on now you know when you've been raised right, some of that wrong stuff feel good and fun. You know it does.
You're right. It can feel good at home too.
Hey, you can send them to my house because by the time they finish over here, they won't be bad anymore.
So one question is, define bad. How bad are we talking?
Bad like you.
I mean, all right, so everybody knows this term, baby kids. Everybody knows that term.
All right. For me, I'm going to say definitely at their house. And the reason for that is this. I have witnessed all that over, like, not quite at my house, but in the very close vicinity of my house. And there's some situations like Chip said, man, you know what? You may not be acting that way by the time you leave my house, and perhaps you may not be allowed back at my house. Not by my decision, but perhaps by your people's decision. So the trade-off is you can keep an eye on them at your house, but is it worth the headache?
I say both. They can come to my house sometimes.
Yeah, I mean,
your kid can be a good influence.
If your kids come to my house, that means they're my responsibility. And if they're my responsibility, that means I am going to treat them as if they are my kids.
Right.
Okay, and so that means I'm gonna put the ground rules down. They're gonna know, hey, this is where you can and can't go in my house, which is mainly just stay outside.
Play with the dogs. Play with the dogs.
Hey man, I've had kids. It's not even about it being bad kids, right? Because back to I forgot who said it, but what is bad, right? Because any kid has the capacity to make a bad decision, even the quote unquote good ones. But I mean, there's been situations where my kids have had their friends over, and I had to tell one of them, hey, you're not gonna do that. Like that is not appropriate, and it really caught them off guard because I am not their parent.
Right.
And they probably didn't expect me to step in, and put them in the correct place. But yeah, once you come over here, Daddy Juwan, that's what you get.
Yeah, that's it. But okay, so check this out. If they're at your house, they're bringing that energy over to your house, and depending upon how bad their parenting system and structure is, it just may not be something that they can get with.
They can go home. They can just go home.
Okay. They can go home.
Johnny's mom is on the way.
Right. Okay.
Stay, but Johnny's mom is on the way.
And I think my house would be so much fun. They're gonna want to get in line to stay. So
I agree with that.
Oh, okay.
See, I'm approaching this from the standpoint of actual lived experience. So, a couple years ago, Landon, my son was a lot. Well, he was younger and physically smaller than he is now. So, right outside of where we were living, we lived in an apartment complex back then. So we had like the kids' playground pretty much right outside our apartment, which made it very, very convenient when it was time to go outside and play, because really we could just look outside and see not only him but any and everybody who was out there playing. That's kind of a double-edged sword. Yeah, it's real convenient. On the other hand, you do catch a front row seat to everybody slipping up when they don't know you watching. And so for me, it was like, okay, I'm not trying to police everybody in terms of what they're doing and how they're carrying on. But there are some times where things were carrying on a little too tough, where I find myself correcting people essentially from the balcony, right? And no, you're technically not at my house. No, you're not my kid, but you're interacting with my kid, and certain things I'm just not about to allow to go down, regardless of who's involved with it. To me, it was more headache than it was work. That's why I was saying I'll send that over to your house. But the trade-off is you can control it a little bit more at your house.
So here's what I'm saying. Even if my kid is at their house, I have set boundaries and expectations of how you're supposed to behave. So just like Juwan was saying, you come in my house, these are the parameters. My kid goes to your house, I'm setting parameters for my kid, because even though they're not in my environment, they still should behave within a certain way. So even if you allow it, they shouldn't still be doing it. Much like, hey, we don't eat pork. We're vegetarians. Y'all eat pork and meat over there. My kid is not to be eaten like y'all. Same sort of principle. But I think I would rather them come to my house, but for the exact same reason of there are just things I just don't allow. I don't do the talking back. I don't do the making a mess and walking off somewhere else and not cleaning up. I don't. I'd rather have them where I can see them, where I can put my Kevin Hart ear out and listen for them. So that's why I got this ear uncovered right now, so I can hear when my sons are acting up. So, yeah. So, all right.
Jason, one quick story. So we had my daughter had some of her friends over, and they were upstairs in her room, and I was outside, but I was right below the window.
Ooh.
I couldn't tell who it was, but I heard one of the girls speaking in a way about her physical attributes in a way that I didn't think was respectful of herself. Okay? And these are, I think at the time they were in middle school, right? And I was like, hold on, what did I just hear? And I went back in the house. Now my wife was in the kitchen, and my cousin, whose daughter was also upstairs, was in the kitchen as well. So I went upstairs and I knocked on the door, and I said, I heard, this is what I heard, who said it? And no one wanted to answer. And so
all of y'all said it.
So I brought everybody downstairs, and put them on trial in front of my wife and my cousin
Mm.
about the situation. And I laid out what I heard, and my wife and my cousin were appalled by it. And I will tell you, none of them girls would snitch. they,
Like that.
they were ready to go down with the ship.
They stuck to the code. They stuck to the code.
Those
They
are good
did
friends.
not snitch.
So how
And
long ago was this?
this was probably about maybe 4 years ago.
So it's still a cold case?
It's still a cold. Well, it's a cold case. It is a cold case. We have a feeling who may have been the one that said it.
No
It's still a
indictments.
cold case. But at that point, my wife and my cousin asked for me to leave
Uh-huh.
so they could address them woman to woman.
Right.
Right.
As it should
So
be.
as it should be, right? And so, but I thought it was pretty cool because dad was involved. You know, now dad wasn't the closer, but dad, kicked things
Right.
off. But yeah, they did not snitch on each other, but they did get a lesson in self-respect
Look,
from my wife and my cousin.
look, I'm gonna tell you something.
They got lessons of self-respect from you. You
Yeah.
start.
Well,
You
yeah, I
started.
kicked it off,
Yeah.
right?
They
Hey,
took credit.
I'm gonna tell you something. Your wife and your cousin, they know. They know who said it. they told them and they said, "Don't tell your dad." They know who said it. They know. All right. So then we got this one. Oh, I like this one. I like this one. All right. Here's the scenario. You have daughters. Would you prefer them sneaking out of the house or someone sneaking into the house? This is ugly. This is nasty. This is this is when I heard this one, I I cringed. But okay. So I look at this like this. You sneaking out of the house. You could be going to a party. You could be going to eat. You could be going on a date. You could be doing whatever. There's only a few things that somebody sneaks into a house for, and
That's
they
logical.
ain't.
Well, I got a question. I do have a question.
That's
What's
logical.
that?
Is the person sneaking into the house um, have skills in AC and furnace repair? Because I mean, I'll be like, come in, go to the
No, sir. This is a would-be plumber. this, this is this is a not even a journeyman. What do they call apprentice plumber?
Based
So
on
you're
your
saying
logic,
this is all bad. That's what you're saying.
go with the second option is being the first option being the one I would prefer. Is, yeah, it's not too many things you're doing trying to do sneaking in. So
But if they sneak out, you don't know they're gone. They're not under your protection. They could be anywhere.
You know what? I'd rather them sneak out because you know what? If they're old enough, or let me say, if they think they're mature enough to just come and go as they please, then there are locks on doors and windows that can be locked upon your return, and I can choose whether or not I'm going to let you in or not.
Mm.
And maybe if you're willing to risk your safety, and in a sense disrespect us, me and my wife like that by sneaking out, then you need to know, kind of maybe experience a little bit of what it's like to be on your own. So I might not let you right in right away.
Hit the
Uh,
garage.
yeah, let you feel with that. Oh, I mean, or wherever you were, go back.
Wow. Okay. Hmm.
Now, I will also say this: they probably wouldn't be too successful trying to sneak out of my house.
Probably.
Because I left the floorboards in their room loose and squeaky on her.
Smart.
That was a decision I made under some a lot of thought.
That's that
Yo,
engineering, huh?
yo,
Hey, look at that. Yeah.
look, as much housing and construction I've been involved with, I've never had that thought. I've never had that thought at all. Okay, okay. So you're a I can't even really answer this one right now. It's this one's a tough one for me because like I can control what happens here, and like you said, uh, my house is locked down. Like I have the system armed to automatically do different things at certain times of the day. So if you leave the house after a certain time and try and get back in, it's gonna go off, regardless of how you're trying to get in.
Oh, okay. Well, before your system automatically on, they snuck in and waited in the closet. So they in. So they in your place.
What he doing now? He thinking back to all the times he snuck in somewhere.
I've
Right.
of all the things that I've done, I've never snuck into somebody's house.
But you had to sneak out though, right?
No. No. No, I'm short, but I got a presence. They know when I'm there. No. Oh man. I can't.
Can't what?
Thinking, Mr. Three Strikes, what would you prefer?
And then why we limited to just daughters? What if it's a son? Does our answer change?
Nope.
Good. I mean, good question. Good question.
You answer?
All right. All right. So my viewpoint on it is like this. If that's the decision you feel you trying to make, like as a minor in my house, because I'm sorry, that's just how I view it right now. I'm always looking at it from a daddy standpoint, whether you're biologically my child or not. I'm in both situations. If that's what you feel you need to do, you need to go on and sneak your way up out the house, because God forbid I find out that something like that went on in my house and there was like that whole covert action behind it. That's not going to be pretty as far as I'm concerned. I don't like to be surprised, especially not after hours. I don't think it would be a very, very good idea, like, sneaking into anybody's house, number one. If that's what you feel you need to do, you just need to go on and put some planning behind it. I mean, sneaking into houses is not a good idea, especially not in Texas, for various reasons. I don't think that's a smart idea.
But 38 or 45 reasons.
I'm mad that, my children decided to, violate, the way that, my wife and I have tried to raise them. Don't disrespect the house. That's supposed to be your safety, where you lay your head.
Mm-hmm.
I'd like to think I raised you better than that.
But so
that Wheeler the state championship.
So what?
I said it cost Wheeler the state championship.
Woo, woo.
Oh, right. Didn't that dude get shot by the dad?
No.
Yeah.
Oh my God. When would that happen?
That was back in
we were in high school.
94, 95, somewhere around there.
And wasn't his name Jason?
I believe you're right.
I think his name was Jason, because when I heard about the story, I felt some kind of way about it.
Wow. That was just before I got to Houston. Wow.
No. It was us.
You said, let me get back in my car.
No, sir. No, sir. No, and that was our senior year. That was 95, 96.
Oh, okay.
When it happened. So you were here. But all right. So Chip said sneak out. Right? Is that what you said?
I did.
Yeah, because all right, sneak out. I think I'm gonna agree with Chip simply because of the fact that you could sneak out for different reasons, and there's only one reason why you're sneaking in to a house late at night. So I mean, I'm still gonna be pissed either way, but I'd rather I'd rather my child say I'm getting ready to do something that I shouldn't do. I'm gonna do it over here and not disrespect this. I'd
One of the
rather
things that
them.
you said, one of the things you said earlier that I wanted to challenge you on is you said when you're at home you can control what's happening at home. By
Yeah.
definition, somebody sneaking in, the fact that they had to sneak in or somebody is sneaking out, you ain't controlling that piece of it. There's
So
no
here,
control on that.
so here's the thing about that word control, and here's the thing about security. Every system has a weakness, every single one, and the weakness that my system has is that my oldest has his own security code, but I get notifications, and there's a log. He doesn't have access to go in and disable the log, disable or change the notifications. So I'll know what happened. It might not be in real time.
Right.
All the windows that somebody could sneak in are controlled. So all the doors controlled. So that's what I mean by I have control over it, and I've given you the ability to do what you need to do. But if you decide to do something that's outside of the parameters that I've set, I'm gonna know. I'm just gonna know. So yeah, control is not absolute ever. I mean, you say I have control over my kids, but in the end, you really don't. You
I was
have
thinking more so over your environment, but that was based on before you gave your whole definition of your setup for control at home.
so I have the ability to set what should happen. I don't have the ability to
Control
uh,
what does happen.
control what does happen. I set the parameters and I set the limitations. If you want to go outside of those limitations, I've set up measures to where I know what's gonna. I know what happened outside of that.
Man,
So
I
I'm.
need to set up an appointment with you, man.
So I'm gonna go with Juwan on this one. I'd rather you take that disrespect somewhere else. Well, what about you, Toy?
Yeah. Both of them are terrible. I'm like terrible, terrible. but to bring that disrespect in my house and being a native Texan, concealed carry person,
Mm-hmm.
the results of someone sneaking in the house are much more dire than my child sneaking out of the house.
Yeah, you gonna mess up somebody's fantasy league.
I messed up more than that.
Hey, okay. What about you, Ian? Because you gave sort of a dislike for both situations, but you didn't really say which one you was gonna pick.
Oh, I thought I did. You won't have to sneak out.
Okay.
Like, do not sneak in. Like Toy said, that is not likely to end well. God forbid I'm surprised by somebody in my house that's not going to end well. Don't do that. I just think that's a very risky proposition, regardless.
What about
It
you,
would hurt my
Malachi?
feelings less as a father, though. It would hurt my feelings less as a father, though, if they felt that I'm about to do something that's against the rules, at home. I should not do it at home.
Once again, I'd like to bring everyone's attention to the poster behind Ian.
Say man, say man.
Bald heads.
you gonna have to move that poster somewhere else to the side, man.
No way. Ain't no way.
Down broke.
You can't sneak in there, bro.
Hey, there's a reason they ran the 90s.
I think Ian would take that person out, run them over, back up, run them over again.
Just not in front of a whole lot of witnesses. I ain't trying to do life like my man back here.
What about you, Malachi?
Nah, sneak out. It's I think you got more options sneaking out to not be doing certain things than, like you said, sneaking in, which is your options are kind of limited to what you're trying to do, and it's safer sneaking out than in general.
Now, if you're sneaking out for some food, just make sure you bring something back for me too.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah, we
Yeah, man.
should say the fact that they sneaking out doesn't mean it has to be
Right.
they doing. Yeah, they're wrong for leaving, but
They could be trying to go to a party.
Yeah.
yeah, man. I mean, it might be innocent fun, I guess, if you take away the sneak action.
You could be sneaking out to go take a walk with them and talk with them. You know, phone time is over. You know, it's after 11 o'clock. Phones are off. You know, you might just be. You know, there are. There are not so horrible reasons to sneak out. There's
So we're saying all this is horrible. So what if we have a 17-year-old child that we know's active, and we took him down to the doctor, and we say, hey, here's protection. I know you're active. You know, I just don't want you to bring home any kids right now. So we know. So it's not something that where we say, hey, they shouldn't be doing that. Now we know we've agreed to it. And so now, will that change any answers?
No, because if you know they active, you don't want to see it.
Stay in your room. Don't come back here.
Okay, that gets that. I think that we could do a whole nother show on that.
Yeah,
I think you really hit on something because I mean that really goes into how do you engage your children if and when they decide to become sexually active. And Jason, write that down. We can come back to that one.
all right.
that's a whole nother show, man.
All right. We'll move to the next question. We'll save that one for another show.
Right.
When you know your child is sexually active. All right. So let's get on right into the next one. Now this scenario is specifically for a son. Okay? You have a son that's in college. Would you rather he be on a D1 football team but be a bench rider, or be the principal dancer in the drama department?
Which one comes with full scholarship?
Let's say everything is equal. Everything else is equal. So he's a bench rider, so he wasn't that good. He's just big or athletic. He tried out for the team. He wasn't recruited. So he's on the team. Don't get no play time. If he gets a play time, is because first string, second string, third string couldn't pass classes or is an injury.
Well,
You know?
I have another qualifying question though.
What's that?
Bench rider at Alabama, because he'll get drafted anyway.
Do you want your child taking that kind of like abuse? There's that whole like concussion, like
Well, you know what? If you're at D1, you've already that ship is already sailed.
Yeah.
Because you've already made that decision that it was okay for him to play that sport. And
right, but there's a cumulative effect thing. I mean, you may make it through. What's his name? I'll just pull this one as an example. Andy Dalton for the Cowboys just got back off of being concussed. I don't know how many years he's been in the league. Something like, I don't know,
right,
a decade or so. But this was his first concussion. I don't know what his college career was like as far as concussions go, but he's probably right now at a similar point in his career, a whole lot better off from a concussion standpoint than, let's say, Junior Seau was. Rest in peace, but we all know why we're saying rest in peace to Junior Seau.
Well, I'll tell you this. So once again, both of them and their parents. Now, Junior Seau is a little different because there's a lot that we did not know back then that we know now, right?
You know it now. You have this information.
So you talk about now the decision to allow your child to play that you have already done that. right?
Right.
Especially if they are at a D1 school playing football, that ship is sailed. That decision had already been made. And so the way I see it now that you've gone down this road, and you're in your D1 playing football, um, let's go ahead and try to finish the journey and get to the payday so that you can now have the funding to pay for whatever injuries and the long lasting effects that may have already got,
Right.
right?
Okay.
As opposed to, but to my point, is he on the bench at Alabama or is he on the bench at name a school, A&M Corpus Christi, you
And
So
know?
let's
for
say
me,
this.
for
Let's say
me,
this.
D1 is D1. So if you playing D1 ball, uh, just by being on the team, you get a whole nother door of connections opened up from you just by being on the squad. So I would go with that option.
So let me answer two things. Let me get what something I forgot to say. So saying that your son is a principal dancer, I want to, for anybody that's thinking it, we're not saying that that son is gay, because that son could be gay playing football.
Absolutely.
So I want to go ahead and say that out there right there. We're not saying macho straight son versus feminine uh, dancer son, because I dated a dancer before. I met a lot of her male friends, and most of them were not gay. They were they got in dancing so they could be around women all the time. So I wanted to go ahead and stress that. But to answer y'all's question about which school, let's just say that it is a school where, like I said, all things equal, it is one where they can get drafted from, and it is one that they could also get notary from being a dancer. Like Alvin Ailey will pick them up, or another company or somebody would notice them and want them to do their choreography.
Mhm.
So it is an equal opportunity for them to do what they're doing in college professionally after they graduate.
So I'll jump in on it. Um, I would want my kid to do what they're passionate about and perform at a high level. If something, and also to be aware of where their strengths lie.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Um, if what you're doing is taking up a lot of your time and resources, and it is obvious that it's not going to get you somewhere, then I would rather you take a step back, reassess,
Mm-hmm.
because time is the most limited resource we have. You can't get
Yep.
it back.
Cannot.
Right. And I would rather you reassess and find where you really should be, where you could excel to the highest levels of whatever that is,
Mm-hmm.
and not trying to choose for them, but as a father, assist them through that process. So I would say, it would given the two choices, I would rather my son be the principal dancer, because he has not only found something he's passionate about, but he actually has the skill set
Mm-hmm.
to perform at a very high level,
Right.
which I think when you're able to do both, be passionate about it and perform at a high level,
Mm-hmm.
brings a level of self satisfaction,
Mm-hmm.
worth, which creates happiness in your life. Um, when you're doing something that um, maybe you love it, but it's not yielding positive results for you, um, it could, I'm not saying it will, but it could set up a situation where it can create some unhappiness in your
Yeah.
life.
Yeah.
So so I always tell my kids to whatever you're gonna do, you need to be the best at it. You need to work hard and be the best that you could be at. So my son may be doing the best they can at football and still have to bench at this D1 school, but they're passionate about it and they love
Mm-hmm.
it. I got to from two different angles. One being so I want my son to be the best. So for them, I would want them to, and their happiness, uh, be that principal dancer. But I hate musicals. I hate. I'm not interested in going to see that. I'd rather go see football and watch the football game. Even if my son not playing, I get to watch the football.
You know why? You know why? That's because you went to Bel Air High School and not Booker T. Washington.
Oh,
Because you
here
went
we
or
go.
Willow Ridge. Because if you went to
Here we
either
go.
one of those schools and you were on the football team while you were in the locker room at halftime, you in the locker room like this because you hear the music from your band that's out there jamming and getting down.
Yo, I can see Antoine and I can see Antoine's son on the stage killing it, and Antoine in the audience cheering like he was at a football game. Yeah,
Yeah.
My daughter ran track. The first year she was eligible for four. I was so happy my daughter ran track. And then the next year, instead of running track, she quit the track team and joined the cheerleading team. Man, that was not fun for me going to those cheerleading competitions.
So, but Antoine, let me ask you this.
But I got a
Was
big
it
cheer dad shirt. I'm number one supporter right there in the corner.
Hey, you still got to do
was
what the
you good-
daughters,
was you
man.
good at
Maybe
track?
this track thing won't be over yet. You keep your track dream alive.
So I'll tell you, I'm, and it's me. I'm the one dealing with it. Okay. Currently my daughter, Alex is playing basketball, but she's also a soccer player, and she's a very good soccer player. Okay, she's a better soccer player than she is a basketball player. And the team she's playing basketball for, um, it's not a good team. Okay, and the soccer team at her school has a much better program in soccer than they do basketball. Now she also plays club soccer as well, so that's another point. And so I'm debating if I should advise her to pick the soccer team and go play for the soccer team at the high school over playing for the basketball team, because I know she's very good at soccer. I know she will excel and have um, a better opportunity to experience success with the soccer team compared to staying on the basketball team. But also with that is it would also probably mean, and this is more so an issue for this year because of COVID, that she might have to quit basketball.
Mhm.
And I'm also not a fan of her quitting anything that she starts either. So I have this debate going on
Yeah.
in my head right now.
Yeah.
So you actually live in this scenario.
I'm living this scenario.
All right. All right.
Yeah. I think, and I'm trying to be my own man, but I think I might agree with Anto and Juwan again on this here because of the fact that there are injuries in dance. Because believe it or not, those dancers are fit. I don't know if you've seen, like these are men that can hold another grown person in the air, twirling and dancing with them. These are men that can jump 6, 8 feet off the ground off of one foot. These are not pansies. These are athletes.
Absolutely.
And I don't know if you've seen posters of the principal male dancers from Avon Alley, but those guys are ripped. And I'm not talking built like triangles. I'm talking built like tree trunks from the shoulders down to the quads and the calves. So I think that less injuries in dance. Um, he's obviously at the top of his game, and even though you have the potential to make more in football, I tend to rank uh, personal happiness and being in a profession that you love and you're good at it higher than financial gain. And I think that everybody needs like three things in their life. You need something that you grew up with, that you saw all the time. For me, that was, handy people. I grew up around a lot of handy men. You need something that you went to school for. For me, that's computer science. And you need something that you struggle with, something that you're not good, you're not necessarily great at, but you're okay at it, but it's a struggle with you. And for me, that's music. Like I understand it. I'm okay at it. I performed at a certain level with it, but it's something that I still struggle with. The technical aspect of it, I get. The improvisation and all the other type of stuff is something that I'm still working on. So as long as my child has that, like it's obvious he went to school for dancing, but he might have also been around dancers growing up. So I think I would pick the principal dancer.
I'll jump in next on this one, man. I would think, and I'm speaking as a very, very big football fan, right?
Mm-hmm.
I would still choose, I guess, just like y'all. I almost wish I got in front of Chip because, like, a lot of like the points that he hit on, a lot of the points that I kind of considered on this one too. I would choose for my son to be the principal dancer for the reason that if he's able to do both, the scenario was he's clearly athletic enough to be like on the football team, D1 school, which tells me you're good enough. You're pretty good at some point. You're better than most because you're on the D1 football team, but you're capped because you're on the bench. Now, if he loves it, cool. Be on the bench and you get to say that you were like on Alabama's football team. May even get a ring out of it.
I get a ring like everybody else on that bench.
Exactly. However, though, if you were like a principal dancer, I have a cousin who was like, a dancer. Now she's older than I was, so I was not able to see a lot of her dancing and all that stuff, when she was doing it, because I was young and wasn't mobile and couldn't go out to all of her shows. But I remember her as being like very athletic. I actually had a girlfriend in college who actually surprised me on my birthday and took me to see Alvin Ailey when they came through Atlanta. Now, I had no idea who Alvin Ailey was. She told me about it. She explained the concept. And I will freely admit, in my young and ignorance, I was sitting there like, okay, I'm going to go. I was down to see what it was. But I had a whole lot of preconceived ideas that were completely shattered when I watched, the performance. They were, like Jason said, they're supremely athletic individuals, both the men and the women. I don't remember there being like an ounce of fat on anybody. It was just all muscle, and they're doing things that they're doing very athletic things that I was an athlete in high school, but I can't flip. I can't throw a person and catch a person and all of that stuff. And there was nothing
A whole person.
quote unquote girly, which was the preconceived idea I had before going and watching like Alvin Ailey perform. There was nothing girly about it. It was phenomenal. So if my son has the opportunity to do that, clearly he's got a talent for it. He's got the physical attributes, and to be honest with you, yeah, he is less likely to have catastrophic injuries that will impact his long-term life than he is at football. As much as I love football,
When you went to watch,
I'll go watch his shows.
When you went to watch Alvin Ailey, were 100,000 people there watching with you?
Now Fox Theater couldn't hold 100,000.
Okay, that was curious. All right.
That's, yeah, it was packed.
But it was packed.
No, it was definitely packed. But 100,000 people, no.
Yeah.
I don't know what the capacity of the Fox Theater in Atlanta was, but it definitely was 100,000. But there was not an empty seat in the house.
Kind of a final thought on it is, at the end of the day, I want my children to find
Themselves.
their talent, right? Whatever it is. And whatever that God-given gift that's inside of them, I want them to be able to identify it and go out and maximize it and turn as much of that potential into a tangible product as possible and be happy about it.
And I really, 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 really hope it's something I enjoy too.
You hope what?
That is something I enjoy too.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, no, I think you're right. I mean, it's great when you can get excited about it too. Like I think as a parent, you're happy because your kid's doing a thing right. Like they're
And you see them shine and blossom.
right.
That's a beautiful thing to watch.
But,
Well,
yeah,
see, when I hear the question, I don't. I assume that the kid loves doing both things. It's just
No.
that he's better. I don't assume
No.
because you ride the bench don't mean you don't love it. I just assume you
I'm
might
with you.
start. I don't think that
Oh,
you don't love what you're doing just because your talent level isn't as elite as those playing above you. I think you can still love doing that just as much as you love doing dance in other scenarios. I'm hearing the question with the assumption that your kid loves doing both of these things.
yes.
My answer just reflective on which one of those things do I think has more exposure than the other. That's all.
No. So what was your answer?
My initial answer was if you're talking about college, which one's paying for school? And then you said they both pay for school equally. So
Both.
both. So then in that
So
case, I think
both of them are either paying for school or neither of them are paying for school.
that's fine. But my point is, I think you get more exposure being a bench warmer in football than you get being a principal dancer for the dance.
Exposure for what though? To ride a bench afterwards?
No, exposure to you play ball. You get you meeting all the boosters, all the
You're
top.
on the bench. You're clearly not playing much. You might be doing a lot of practicing, but you ain't playing.
We're
but I
talking
think you have the same
ball.
exposure. I think you have the same exposure as a principal dancer because it's in that field, right? Even if you don't go on a professional level to be one of the best at it, you still have connections in that world. Maybe you end up being more of a producer instead of the dancer on the stage. And now you have all these connections. So when you go to New York, you can go see whatever play you want, whatever show you want, because you know somebody.
I mean,
Right?
look at the Allen sisters.
I'm not.
It's all about how you want to live your life, and where you want to spend your time doing certain things. For example, if you are a principal dancer, having relationships with those in the football world are probably not that beneficial, right?
Right, makes sense. But I guess what I'm saying is, I assume both scenarios. Your kid is deeply passionate in love with what they're doing in both scenarios. All I'm saying is the principal dancer. I'm saying Red McCombs knows who the third string quarterback is for UT. Red. I'm making an assumption. I'm assuming. I don't think Red McCombs or someone like him knows. The chances are lower that they're going to know who the principal dancer is.
So
School dance program.
It's because we
Or
are
lower. I just think the odds are low. That's all.
it's because we are a sports culture. But when you get into the dance arena, it is, and I don't really like this word, but I'm gonna use it because it's a cult. When you're in, you're in. So there is an understanding of people inside that culture. Once you hit a certain level, it's almost as if you've got a golden ticket. Like, look at Felicia Rashad and Debbie Allen. Like, so many doors have opened up for them because of their dance career. Like, Felicia Rashad, not so much as dancing anymore, but Debbie Allen, she directed the last seasons of Different World.
I'm with Malachi on this one. I think there's many more success stories from the D1 bench rider who maybe didn't make it as the star, than there will be the principal dancer who didn't make it as the star principal dancer.
And that's because we're
in the background.
That's because of numbers, though. That's statistically it should be.
We can sit here and say that we know that.
Right. That's because we're not in that cult.
We're not. If you don't,
it's just more opportunities there. Period. Though.
Look, there's more numbers.
I disagree. I completely disagree that there are more opportunities because you play college football versus dancing. and in that world, because the entertainment world is huge, and it's worldwide. It's not the NFL is America. They've got you got a few pockets outside of America that might watch it, but I mean they're not starting leagues. But
So I'm not talking about playing. So I'm talking about I could be a coach in the NFL. I could be a coach in college. I think there are far more
you can
opportunities.
be a producer. You can, and I think Felicia, Debbie
I
Allen was
could
a
be
very
I
good
could be
example.
I could
Debbie
be the
Allen
team
was a
player
dancer that ended
lawyer.
up producing TV shows. So I don't. But here's the thing. I think we're looking at Jason's the question he posed in the incorrect manner. It's not that you have this one child and they have to pick between those two options that are available to them. It's
Either
you
or.
have one child or this other child. Which child would you prefer to be yours?
Right, right. I
Right.
agree.
So it's the same kid, but the timeline splits, and you're going to one of the two. Which one would you rather be in? So, Toy, are you changing your answer real quick, and then we
No,
got to
my
get to
answer's the
last question.
same. I'm just
Okay.
backing Malachi up when saying I
Oh,
know
okay.
about the
Okay.
opportunities.
Okay. He don't need your help. He can stay by himself. He can stay by himself. All right. We're running out of time. We got to get to last call.
Holler at me when dancers get boosters. That's all I'm saying.
Dude.
They do.
College?
Dude.
In college?
Sir.
Here's the
Sir.
thing, that it's just that because you know, and I'm saying we because I don't either because I just didn't do that right. We don't know what we don't know because we haven't lived in that world. But I think
Well,
if
that's not true.
we had
I
someone,
know. I know for a fact that there is not a multi-billion-dollar industry revolved around athletic dance teams.
excuse me.
We're not talking about. We're not talking about athletic dance teams.
No. I'm saying I know there's a. I said athletic incorrectly. I know there's not a multi-billion-dollar industry revolving around dance programs at colleges. Is that correct or incorrect?
But what does that
Please
have to do
enlighten me
with?
on what
But
multi-billion dollar.
what does that have to do with this particular scenario?
Well, he said.
Well. Okay. So
That's all I'm
dancing collegiately is not $1 billion business.
That's all I'm saying.
Okay. Matter of fact, there are only two sports that are $1 billion businesses collegiately,
Football, basketball.
and that's football and basketball. That's a whole nother conversation once again when it comes to not paying those guys, right?
But again, that's because we are a sports culture. We
Yeah.
value that above everything else.
And due to us being a sports culture, my pick would be for the one that has the most eyes on it at more times, which in theory should equate to more opportunity. That's all.
Sorry. All right. So I'm gonna ask this one question. What's up?
Malachi, would you rather your son go play D1 football and be a bench rider, or go to Morehouse on a full scholarship?
Again, which one is free?
he just said.
Scholarship.
He just said full scholarship.
No. You said go D1 and be a bench rider.
Both of them are free. Both of them are free. Would you rather go D1 bench rider?
As you know me, you know I'm extremely biased, and I'm only paying money for my child to go to one school, so they should go to Morehouse. You're asking me a question. You know what answer I would give you.
So it sounds like we got. It sounds like we got
Morehouse. Okay.
Look, hey man, that's not a dance hat. That looks like a golf
It don't
hat.
matter. I'm saying. You know my response. I'm biased. Okay. Yeah.
All right, man.
You can only go once.
we gotta get to last call. So do we have 5 dancers or 4 dancers and a football bench rider? What we got?
4 dancers and a football bench rider.
Yeah, I think that's it.
All right. Let's go ahead and get last call.
But with let me.
Is this your last call?
My answer. Sure, my son can go be a principal dancer at Morehouse, where the majority of his classes will be at Spelman. Yeah, I'm okay with that.
This is coming from the guy who cross-registered for swimming at Spelman.
Exactly.
Wait, did they let you?
Yes.
Did they let you do that?
Yes.
Not anymore. After he did it, they stopped. No more.
Look.
It's the Malachi rule.
Look. And we already had a new pool at Morehouse. There was no reason for him to go to Spelman.
There was a reason. There's a reason.
Look, man.
There's a reason. Read. This is where reading is fundamental. Read your procedural book on cross registration. It lets you know what you're allowed and what you're not allowed to do. So,
man, I done tried 3 times to get this last call started.
All right, last call. Let's go.
Yeah. Let Juwan hit it first.
go ahead, Chip.
All right. The one thing I will say is, regardless, let me go back to the question around, well, something that kind of came up was the sexual orientation of your child in these given situations. And one thing that I did want to say is, I don't think any of that matters in any of those situations that we discussed. I wouldn't want my child to sneak in or out, regardless of what their sexual orientation is. I would want my child to pick a path that they can excel and really use their talents and put them on display at the highest level, regardless of what their sexual orientation is. And even when it comes to friends, whether they're good or bad, I know we really didn't go there on that one, but I just wanted to make it clear that is not a defining characteristic that would change my viewpoint on any of those topics. And the view of certain things being masculine or feminine, I don't think are important when it comes to judging or determining and advising your kid on how to use their talents.
I agree. My last call is going to be about submission of questions. Guys, we're getting some good questions in the email address, askthedads@ThisIsHowYouDad.com. But I want to go ahead and get some more so we can start putting together some episodes where all we're doing is answering you guys' questions. We got a few in the box. We need some more. Again, that's just askthedads@ThisIsHowYouDad.com.
My last call is as long as Morehouse is free, fully paid for, you'll never make a bad decision choosing that over anything.
Your child is not a kid for long. Your child is a child. Your child is not a kid for long. Sow into their passions and enjoy their passions with them, even if you don't like
Right.
AKA Cheer Dad.
Cheer Dad. Cheer Dad number 1.
Cheer Dad number 1.
There you go. All right, my last call deals with for anybody who has been paying attention or knows me pretty well. You know that I am a big NWA fan. Anything NWA, I am there for it. Hence my T-shirt right here. Let me go on and get it all up in like the camera. By the way, shout out to the homie Reese at Surly Shirt Project for putting this one together for me. This is a one-off, but they have lots of other nice stuff at surlyshirts.com. Check them out. But the whole point of my bringing all that up is, being an NWA fan, I am a fan of one O'Shea Jackson, better known by a stage name Ice Cube. If you have been following Twitter leading up to this last election that we had, he took a swing at putting together something called the Contract with Black America that he put out to both political parties. Got, according to him, it sounded like he got a little bit of a stiff arm from the Democratic Party. the current inhabitant of the White House, number 45, felt that his party would reach out to him and try to see what it is he had going on with all that. Mixed reviews as a result of all that. The whole reason I'm bringing this up is not because I'm trying to sway anyone to one political party or the other, or because I think that O'Shea Jackson needs my support on anything due to all the incoming fire he's taken from a whole bunch of Twitter trolls as a result of his being willing to talk to whoever was in power to try and get an agenda advanced that he thought would benefit his people. My gripe is more so with the Twitter trolls, not because you're necessarily taking a shot at Cube, but because a lot of y'all are talking about something that, though it was an ambitious swing at something, it's something that he at least had the stones to take a swing at. A lot of people wouldn't have taken that swing. Even if you have an opportunity to work with somebody that you may not agree with, and by no means is he a spokesperson for all Black America, he took a shot. A lot of people on Twitter taking shots at him. They're good at taking Twitter shots. They haven't taken a shot at actually trying to advance any kind of solution, imperfect as it may be, towards the problem. So my last call is, if you're going sit around and criticize somebody, at least have another solution or something you're going to propose. Otherwise, stop it. You just hating.